Hey everybody, it's me. I'm coming here with a different video today. This air compressor we have in my house, the belt on it broke, so I'm going to show you how to replace it, because I'm doing some research and didn't really find a video on how to replace one yet. So what you need to do first is get all your tools together. What you'll need is a socket wrench with a 1/4 inch socket for removing the ground wire here, and a 10mm socket for removing the bolts here, here, and here. And it'll help if you either have 2 short extensions put back to back or a really long extension, because some of these kind of difficult to get to if you don't have it that way. Then you'll need to unplug these wires from each other. Those should simply pull apart, and you'll need a 5/8 wrench for this here and this here. And before you do any of that, make sure you have a pair of pliers to relieve the air pressure, which the air pressure valve can be found on the bottom side of the compressor itself. Anyway, to start things off, we're going to remove the ground wire. Long extension, socket wrench, 1/4 inch socket. Make sure you keep this where you can find it easily, because if you lose it, it'll be painful to try and locate it. Just set this off to the side. And pulls apart. Remember, white here to white here, that way you don't forget. And the same for black. Black here to black here. Pull, set them off to the side, because you don't want anything happening to it. From here, you want to take the 5/8 wrench and undo the bolt here that goes to the pressure control area, and then after you remove that, you want to kind of get it out of the way to make it easier to get to the bolt, the nut that goes to the air tank itself. So what I did there is I simply got it loose enough to where I could do it with my hands, and doing it with my hands is just so much faster. Also, make sure you're turning them in the right way, because you don't want to strip whatever you're working on. So from here, you want to remove the 3 bolts here, here, and here. The reason why we did these first is because these are stiff, and if you remove these 3 bolts, this starts to move around, making these a lot more difficult to deal with. So 10mm, same setup I used for removing the bolt holding the ground wire in. Just change the socket itself out from 1/4 inch to 10mm, and up we go. But that's 2 done. Now we're off to number 3. And lift up. Ta-da! And your motor is out. Okay, so we got the motor out from the air compressor. So what we're doing now is we're going to remove this here from this here. What you want to do first is take a screwdriver. Doesn't really matter what type, so long as it's about 4 to 5 inches long, that should do it. And you want to line up one of these holes, line it up through until you see the screwdriver come out this end here. What you do from here is take a 7/32 Allen wrench and put it in the hole there and twist. And just make sure you're twisting in the right direction, because if you start tightening it, you're have fun with that. But once you get it off, get loosened, get it off, that falls off, and you're ready to put the belt in. Okay, so after I remove this from here, which held the piston in place, moved the piston out of the way, and clamped the motor down to the table with 2 C-clamps where two of the bolts were located. Keeps it from moving, makes it a little easier to work on. From here, what you want to do is take 2 1/4-inch Allen wrenches, stick them through these smaller holes here, one there and one there. If you notice that you heard a click, what you want to do from there is push back or pull back just a little bit. That way, for the most part, the Allen wrenches are in this gear here, but they're not going to touch the metal, not going to scar it, and most importantly, they're not going to catch anything and damage anything. From there, you want a bigger screwdriver than what you started out with, and a piece of wood or something softer than a screwdriver to press down on the belt with to keep from breaking it as it tries to jump track. Anyway, let's do this. When you reach a certain point, you gotta, at the very least, swap the Allen wrenches around, because the way I have it set up, is this is gonna get caught eventually, so you're simply just gonna have to rotate it. Make sure the piston stays out of the way, and march on. And like that, you got a new belt on. Necessary is when putting the motor back in, you'll want to start with the hose, this metal hose here that goes directly to the air compressor, because this is brass and this is an aluminum, and they're both soft metals. But if you decide to put the 10mm bolts in first before doing this, there's a really good chance you're going to cross thread this joint right here and just really mess things up when it comes to the motor. So you want to start with that connection there, then go to your 3 bolts, do this, connect your ground wire and your power wires, and then start it up to see if it runs, and from that point on you should be set. Rate, like, comment, subscribe, and see you on the next video.